Hi, I'm Alan Boone, Director for the Board of Directors for the AAST. Today, we have two guests with us. We have Laurie Fordyce and Brendan Duffy. Both in their field are technical experts, and in today's sleep world, we've had a proliferation of technology coming into the marketplace, not just into our labs and our facilities, but as well into the common public. Things, wearable technology, things that are reporting to us via our phones, laptops, tablets, and such. And oftentimes, we're asked, how are these things influencing our patients? How is it influencing the treatment of and continuum of care with this? Are these good? Are these bad? And these are the things that we're going to be discussing today in today's session. So I want to start with Laurie. How do you feel? What technology are you seeing in particular?
I see a lot of Apple Watches, Fitbits, and things like that. A lot of people have invested money in using that. I think most people are looking to find out, am I sleeping better, and from a fitness perspective. One of the questions that I would caution, everyone out there that is looking at this is that what data is actually being collected, and has it been validated somehow?
Now, Brendan, we realize that you, of all people, and we welcome you aboard to the Board of Directors and to today's session. We know that you've got a prolific web presence. What do you see?
I think it's really becoming a big issue, both good and bad, because there are so many choices. And as was stated, there is some kind of validation problem with a lot of it. I looked through a list today, and there was probably just a handful that were either validated by FDA or NASA. So you're getting a lot of information, but how good is that information worth? And the fear is that it will either miss a diagnosis or it will misdiagnose somebody. So it has to be part of a total package. Some of the good things that are coming out are compliance that we can do in the lab, and we can track that, and some of the machines that have algorithms that we know about. But as far as the outside consumer friendly, there are good things and bad. It does create awareness, which is great, but there's a danger in taking too much information to heart, and it could actually hurt somebody if they maybe feel that they slept well, but they look at a score in the morning which says that they didn't sleep well. So they might get anxious about it and may compound, just like somebody staying in bed when they can't sleep, and may compound their anxiety.
Now, one of the things that we also know about is the ever-increasing problem of looking at devices in the bedroom, whether it be a tablet or whatever the case. More often than not, I believe it's phones, and with the particular spectral emission activating the suprachiasmatic nucleus and thus further activating wakefulness in the process. It almost makes you wonder, in the situation, in the name that you mentioned, I'm not even going to attempt to try and repronounce that.
Orthosomnia.
Thank you. Do we have patients in the marketplace that are constantly waking up during the night and immediately checking to see how well they're sleeping?
Yep.
Not just see if they have a text message, but how well they're sleeping.
Yeah. And actually, they've done some research where folks, even if they're told that they're going to be alerted sometime during the night, if they don't alert those people, but just telling them, they have more fragmented sleep, even if they don't wake them up. So they've actually done that kind of research. So just having the cell phone there between the vibration and a little bit of light is enough to disrupt this person, and they have done that, which I thought was really interesting. They didn't do anything except tell them that they're going to be alerted during the night, and their actual sleep was more fragmented.
And I think you also have the patients that, they'll look at their device and say, what, my device says I'm sleeping well, and they know they have a problem, but they're like, but my device is saying I'm sleeping well, so I don't need to be on any therapy. So you have that misdiagnosis as well.
Interesting.
And you can see it's becoming a big in our industry, because AASM just came out with a position paper on how to treat this information. And it was basically, as we're saying now, it's good as a supplement, but it's not something that you can just take for, you know, the only truth. It has to be put in the blender with diagnostic tests, meeting with the doctor, PSG, and look at the whole picture, and maybe use it sort of as an electronic sleep diary. But getting back to what you were mentioning about the cell phones, there are other devices now on the other side that are blue light blockers, you know, so they're coming out. I've had the ability to try a couple of different devices that are on the good side. Maybe teenagers, you can't get them to put those phones down, and they don't go to sleep till 11 or 12 because of their own biological rhythm. So now you can hope that they will do that, but if they don't, what they're doing a lot with the sports teams is they've given up that battle, so they're asking them to wear blue blocker glasses to try to eliminate the blue light and hopefully not upset the melatonin.
Let's shift it just a little bit, because this isn't the only tech that we've seen of recent introduction. You know, we've seen a tremendous amount on CPAP devices, apnea machines for treating, devices made for treating sleep apnea. Can you shed a little light onto the topic for us?
I think, you know, those devices have been more on the positive side, where it's getting the patient involved in their own care. So then they're able to say, you know, to look at it and say, oh, you know, my AHI, it was 47 and now it's down to 6. You know, they can see themselves getting better over time as they're using it.
And I think on the compliance side, it lets us intervene quicker, because we used to have to bring people back for a follow-up, subjectively get information from them. And if you remember, there were ways where they could spin the dial in the old machines, and then put them on a dog or something to let the motor run. But those days are gone, because now it's tracking and it's really good compliance. And it will tell you if there's leaks or things that you can manage. So it's a real good tool, the electronics and the information that's out there, for the technologists and the sleep educators to work with the patient.
What about the patients? How are you finding the level of engagement using that kind of technology?
Most of my patients seem to love it, but I would find that I have to be careful, because you have those patients that their AHI is, you know, 2.4 one night, and they're calling you the next day saying, but it's 1.5 now, you know, am I doing better? And then the next night it'll be 3.2, and then they're calling because they're in a panic, but now I'm double what I was the night before.
Right.
So.
I think it's working out really well for them, because it gives them an opportunity to reach out to us, and vice versa, we can reach them. So the more and the earlier, as you know, that you can make a change for the positive before it goes in the closet because they didn't realize there was a solution, the better for their health.
You know, with the good, we always want to make sure that we kind of take a look at the potential, I don't want to necessarily say negatives, but some of the
Unique.
uh-oh moments that have transpired in using sophisticated technology that, you know, be it the most sophisticated, low be it that the simplest of things will happen. Do you have any experiences, do you have any things that you can specifically cite, you know, towards a situation that you were surprised by?
Well, two things come to mind, because I do a lot of research with sports teams and athletes. I get the opportunity to find out about a lot of what they're using. So I decided for a couple of nights to put on 5 different devices. Some of them were under the mattress, some of them were on the bedstand, some of them I was wearing. So they were all different types of measuring devices. So everything was going good for a couple of days, but then I woke up one day and I looked at one of them and it said I had left the bedroom twice, and it didn't match the data from the other ones. So again, as a patient, I think you would be scared if a device is saying you took a little walk somewhere and you really didn't. You start to question yourself. So that was one. And then the other thing was, I actually went to work and I was checking in on the device just to see how I did last night, and I couldn't get into it because it was in operation. So I had to panic And then I realized that my dog had climbed up on the bed, set because it was under the mattress, set the device off, and now I know that a Yorkie's heart rate, resting heart rate is 57.
Interesting.
Yes. But again, all those 2 or 3 hours that he sat on the bed, if somebody takes that to a physician, they're going to say, well, it looks like you're sleeping 10 or 11 hours. And if the person didn't realize that was on there, then the physician is getting bad data, and that's the fear.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of territory today, and we very much appreciate both of you taking the time to share with us a vast wealth of your knowledge in the process, looking at the different technologies and seeing how these are starting to impact our practice and our patient care. And again, thank our audience for this. And we look forward to seeing you online again, and we'll see you in our next presentation. Good day.